Right, guys, welcome back. This is still the British Grand Prix Part 2. As you know, me and Louis love to we just love to chat, don't we, mate? One day we're going to make a third part, you know this. We are going to make a three
It's
part
coming.
something.
It is coming.
Um, just to let you know, if we do look like we keep looking up, we are watching the Women's Euro match, England versus Wales, so we'll keep you updated with anything that goes on, really. Um, so, yes, we got up to
Lap
lap
22.
22, so that was the end of the safety car, right?
Yeah.
So, I was watching this bit at work because somebody was watching it on their phone and then managed to put it on the TV. So I was standing there watching it with them, and all of us at the same time went, "What is Max doing?"
Yeah.
I mean, Oscar put the brakes on. I get that, but the problem is, and Zach Brown said it perfectly, the safety car coming in was called so late.
I think
And I think personally, I don't want to say conspiracy theories, but they've looked at it and gone, "Oh, McLaren. We need a new winner." So what they've
I
done
don't
is
know
go,
that.
we
I
need
think
to
they've
get
done it
this.
purposely. Knowing that McLaren were going to win that race anyway. But like as I said to you when we spoke about it, it's harsh, but under the rules, it's the right decision because Russell got given the same penalty for 30 psi on the brakes. Obviously, when Piastri pressed the brakes, it was at 100 psi. So
Yeah,
you can't even question it. Like it's sad, but for me, I think they're both lucky to still be in the Grand Prix because Max could have gone straight up his arse.
yeah. So for anybody who doesn't know what happened, safety car came in. They usually have to give them at least half a lap so that they can back the traffic up, which means then first place becomes the safety car. So they maintain the pace, and then eventually they stick the hammer down and they go. But you can't overtake each other until they cross the start finish line. So what happened was, I'm gonna say, mate, 3 corners before the pit entry, they went safety car in.
I think
So
it was. I think it was only two.
Oscar slammed the brakes on, and Max has gone past him. So it could, like Louis said, it could have been a situation like the um the Hadjar and Antonelli, just worse.
So technically, when you overtake under the VSC virtual safety car, it does imply a penalty. Even though Max didn't overtake, he still went past Piastri.
Yeah.
But because Piastri was blamed for this, Max got away with that situation. Now, for me,
I
I'm
think
sorry, you are trained to be a driver with high speeds and reaction times. There was still more than enough time for him to react.
I think what made it worse is probably the FIA have gone, all right, Piastri, that was a bit ridiculous. We'll note it. But then what happens is, just as they come into the last corner so they can go over the pit start finish line, Max spins it.
Yeah, and that's
There's
because
tyres.
he's got flat spots on the tyres.
There's a penalty check, mate. Um,
I've just seen that.
so what he does is he spins. He goes from second all the way down to seventh, eighth, was it?
No, he went.
Even more.
He went from third
Same.
to
So he went
in.
down to.
Yeah,
So for me, they've looked at that and gone, well, actually, Oscar's caused that. Now, for me, if you're going to do something like give him a 5 second stop go penalty or a 10 seconds, so what a stop go penalty is, guys, is you either take the 10 seconds at the end and they add it onto your time. So if you finish first and they give you 10 seconds and say like fourth place is only 9 seconds behind, you move all the way down. Or you take it during the actual race where you go into the pit and they can't touch your car. And I'm going to say this out loud, and I said it the
penalty.
other day.
Sorry, penalty.
Penalty.
Yeah.
I'm a few seconds behind you.
Oh yeah.
We've
Yeah.
always been
Been
like this with the
given.
football. It's like, yeah, goal.
Yeah,
What goal? Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's been given. I think it's harsh, but
Yeah, it was harsh. But for me, I'm going to say this out loud, and I don't know if you'll disagree with me. Lando Norris's win in the British Grand Prix was tainted because of that.
hmm,
Because he wasn't the better McLaren driver on Sunday.
Personally, still think Norris would have won that race regardless.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Piastri and Verstappen were burning tyres far too quick trying to race each other. Norris was just sat in third. He was sat that far back that he had a clear run. His tyres weren't getting affected. So I think towards the end of that Grand Prix, he'd have had better tyres and would have passed them both, personally.
Okay. I mean, it's when the call came a little bit later in the race when they went, Oscar, it's not going to be team orders, just race. You've only got 5 laps left.
Yeah, 1-0 England. Georgia Stanway from the spot.
So I ain't seen that yet. I can just see her focusing on the ball.
Yeah. I'm going to have to try and delay this by about 15 seconds.
So, after the safety car happened, I may have swore a bit. My exact words was, Lance Stroll's in 4th. What the fuck?
Yeah. But before we go into that, don't forget, just after Max spun, Behrman did the same.
Yeah.
But he was lucky with his spin because he spun and he nearly took out Tsunoda.
He did, yes.
And I was like, oh, that was close.
See, the best spin, well, no, not the best spin. The most controlled spin this weekend was George Russell.
That was I'll tell you what, that was,
and he found out where the off-road bit was, and he just went.
That was like it was a stunt. It was perfection. I mean, how many cars do you know that can do a 720 and still keep going the same way they have?
Martin Brundle said that. He said at some point he must have picked up where the run-off track was and just went, right, that's it.
But like you say, you're spinning round that quick and you're trying to find a point to focus on to pull the car back. Unreal.
Yeah.
And then obviously we had lap 23 where Antonelli can't recover from the damage caused by, what you call him? Hadjar. Has to retire the car. So that's 2 retirements for Antonelli in 2 races. And at that point, the McLarens were 3 seconds quicker than anybody else on track.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I'm trying to remember when it was when Ollie and Ocon, Behrman and Ocon sort of pirouetted at the same time after touching each other.
That's later on, that is.
Yeah, because they both spun and they both carried on. I was like,
that was like 44, that was. Yeah, so lap 24, obviously Lewis and Russell are going head to head, 2 British drivers, both want to impress. Lewis slides into Cop's corner and Russell goes, thank you, see you later. Piastri's then given up to the... Go on, sorry.
Lewis did a lot of sliding.
Yeah.
He slid a lot. I mean, like we said, the Charles Leclerc situation, he went off at one corner and Lewis went off at the other.
Do you know what the worst thing is, though? Lewis Hamilton's always slid in the wet. Always. He does it naturally on track in the dry as well, if you watch him. But, he didn't get away with it. I think the track was too wet.
Yeah.
Even though it was drying out, it wasn't dry enough for him to start sliding the car around just yet. But, he did. And then, like I say, Piastri was given his 10-second penalty for the safety car infringement with Max and caused a lot of questions, a lot of concern, and rightfully so. I think it was harsh. But, again, rules of the FIA, they're pretty black and white, and if you breach them, you get done, unfortunately.
See, there's a rule in that you're not allowed to swear over the radio as well, and Max does it every single race.
Yeah.
He must have done it. I mean, at one point, he called the car fucking undrivable.
I mean, talk about
12th to 6th, and it's fucking undrivable, then you're doing something right personally.
Oh, that's it, isn't it? Yeah. But, lap 27, Hamilton and Reed takes the place back from Russell, who looks like his tyres are not giving up, but they've had the better days. And then Tsunoda's given a 10-second penalty for causing a crash. And I was just like, this guy would be better in a bumper car. Seriously. For me, Tsunoda. I've even got in my questions here. Tsunoda, is he the new Pastor Maldonado? Another collision where it looks like he's purposely don't try to avoid the collision, but engages.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look at Colapinto and on Austria, mate. There's the first one he could have pulled out of.
Yeah.
This weekend he could have pulled out. For me, Tsunoda would have been better staying in the Racing Bulls team. You know,
We said this last week, didn't we? He's been swapped with Lawson, and yet he's no better than Lawson was in that car.
Lawson's actually bringing out the better performances. But to me, right, here's my question to you, and it's just popped in my head. If Lawson and Tsunoda were good in the Racing Bulls car, or AlphaTauri, or whatever they were called last year, is it the car? Is the car a lot easier to handle than the actual Red Bull?
No. Personally, my answer to that would be no. I just think the Red Bull is a far superior car compared to the Racing Bull.
It just makes me think that both because Tsunoda and Liam Lawson are pulling out the best performances in the sister car, and when you put them in the main seat, they're like, which way's forward?
Get it, but you think the sister car's that for a reason, isn't it? It's not going to get the same upgrades. It's not going to be as good as the main car. And I think that's why they've struggled making that step up. Well, I don't think they've struggled. I just think they've got to get used to the power difference. Obviously, you know, in the rate, I'm not saying it is, but you know, like if you're in a Racing Bull, you put your foot down, there might be a 2-second delay. Whereas in the Red Bull, there's no delay.
Yeah, true.
So,
I mean, could it be the fact that at Racing Bulls, no disrespect to Isaac Hadjar, they've got Max Verstappen as a partner?
again, could be. There's a load of factors that could influence that, isn't there? But we're never going to know this side of the fence of what those factors are. But it can't just be that the car is that much better that they can't handle it because it's Formula One. The car goes as quick as you drive it. So
there was talk about after the break, because I think we've got two more races before the summer break. There's talk about Tsunoda stepping aside and I can't think who it was. Somebody else coming in. Hi.
yeah, that was the wife in the background.
She's amazing. The things she comes up with, like TikTok, YouTube, brilliant.
But yeah, so like I say, again, that's like 3 crashes in his last 3 Grand Prix. There's got to be a point where someone pulls him along and says, mate, like, can you just try and finish a Grand Prix without crashing our cars and costing us a fortune?
Finish 16th. Just finish
Yeah.
the race.
The amount of damage he's probably caused in these cars, and I get everyone does it, but like his just seems to be too frequent now.
I mean, we'll get to this a bit later after we finished everything with the Formula One. But who tells him that now? It ain't going to be corner.
It's 2-0 England. Ella Toon.
At this present time, I can't think of where she is. She's a left back for England. She's got the ball.
I think Greenwood's playing left back today. But yeah, 2-0. Yeah, it's Alex Greenwood. Brilliant player. She.
Man City playing, she.
Man City, yeah. Very good player.
Oh, what was that deflection?
Poor defending, to be fair.
Yeah. Did you see that video I sent you earlier? Quickly off topic.
Yes.
Mate, that was brilliant.
That
was like Villa defending.
Alessia Russo does absolutely incredible there.
Yeah. So yes, 2-0 England. We are definitely going through to the next round after that awful match against France. But we won't talk about that.
Like lap 30 was the one we was on about earlier with Lewis Hamilton, where he gets overtaken by Gasly and Russell, I believe it is. No one's even seen him go past him other than Lewis, and it's like, oh, okay. And then a lap later, well, no, even a lap, it was a couple of corners later, it's like, yeah, well, I'm having them places back, lads, thank you. But it was such a brave move, knowing that 3 cars into a corner, having to yield to the outside to let the 2 on the inside, to then do them on the outside into the next corner and still take track position. And this is what I say about Lewis. how he manages to get so much on a wet track that nobody gets is mental.
It's not just that, mate. If you watch that, on board is really, guys, go watch it. I mean, I might even, the link you sent me, I might even put that in the actual group.
Yeah,
In the
I
Facebook
think
group.
it needs to go into people can see because, I mean, it's bad enough driving a normal car on the road when the rain's lashing down and you can't see 20 yards in front of you. Hamilton probably can't even see 2 yards in front of him, but he still makes this move.
Yeah, he can't even see his front wing, I don't think, at some point.
No,
But
and that's what
if you look at the camera angle from away from the car, is it Gasly? Gasly is trying to overtake somebody else when he goes round, and it's like, hang on, you've just overtaken somebody who's overtaking somebody.
Yeah, it was a brave move.
But you know, how the other week when I said the best overtake I'd ever seen was Michael Schumacher, Mika Hakkinen.
Yeah,
in Spa. That's definitely up there.
I think
the fact it was raining and it was brave.
The visibility alone was just like, you just wouldn't attempt that. That visibility is like, nah, I'm not. That's dangerous. But it's that dangerous. It's brave, and I tell you what, I loved every second of it.
You've got to give credit to Gasly and who was the other driver?
Russell.
You've got to give credit to them because they're going 3 wide into that corner, which is then coming up to the Weddington straight. Hamilton's coming up the inside. Like I said, Gasly's trying to overtake Russell, and they must at one point think, there's a red Ferrari next to me. We go around here, this could end horribly wrong.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think George Russell does lose out, but he's the one who goes, all right, guys, you go fourth.
Yeah. But like you say, after that, nothing really happened for a couple of laps then. The track was desperately trying to dry out. So lap 36, I think it was, the track was drying quickly. Oh, sorry. I'm just going to introduce this to everybody on there now. My wife has obviously been to the shop and just come out and bought me a Red Bull. Yeah, new edition, the Lilac edition, which is grapefruit and blossom. So I will be cracking that open in a second. I'll let you all know what it's like. But cheers, mate.
Quick one. I tried the Lando Norris Monster the other night. Have you tried yours yet?
No, it's still in my fridge.
He's not going to watch this channel. He might do, but Lando, the best.
Because I'm going to grab it.
And like I said, Lando, if you do watch it, or you know somebody who's going to watch it, or somebody then messages and goes, Glenn said, I do. The Lewis Hamilton one is so much better. It's just to taste nicer.
I've got loads of those in the fridge. So this is what we're talking about, guys. Lando Norris Monster Can. Let's.
I kept the can, mate.
You've got to keep the can. It's memorabilia. Let's give this a little whirl.
I was drinking this, guy, so I'm just going to advertise. It's very sweet.
No, I actually like that. I like that.
Yeah, I find it very sweet, but I like the loose one because it's not so sweet.
Fruity, that is. I like that. No, that's. I'll definitely be going to B&M and stacking up on those.
Morrison's do it, and other retailers, by the way.
Yeah, just so you guys want to podcast, Home Bargains and B&M are my favourite 2 shops in the world.
Yeah, my wife to be loves B&M.
So again, we go back to lap 38. Obviously, the track started to dry quickly. I'm sitting there thinking, who's going to be the first to go back onto the slicks here? Who's going to be brave? And then the message comes over the radio from Mercedes. Oh, what's the track like, George? Do we go to slicks or do we stick on the inters? George Russell's response is, depends. Shows how brave you want to be. The response from the actual pit crew was brave, but not suicidal. We're still looking. And I was thinking, well, who's going to know better than the guy that's on the track? So he's asking for the slicks. The pit crew are telling him, we don't think it's ready just yet. So, no. And I thought, fair enough, they've got on with it. There's no arguments like Max, who would be saying, I want them, I'm having them. So they let him go on. Alonso's obviously dived in for the pits at this rate, and he's the first one to go on slicks as the guinea pig. Lap 39, Russell's eyes, I think we should go for it. Mercedes make the gamble. Leclerc goes through, and I thought, will he? Will he not? Throws his car into the corner, nearly wipes out Carlos Sainz. I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, he's on a charge and half these. But, you know, I think it was about lap 40, 41. Russell comes flying off the track straight away. It's too wet and he's there. He's got the hard compound on. The gamble hasn't paid off for him, loses a lot of places. And I'm thinking, do you know what? I get it. I understand why he tried to gamble because that could have won him the race. Unfortunately, it didn't. But hats off, like, you know, he tried. France, Netherlands is 1-1. Oh, wow.
The hard tyre didn't seem to work at all at Silverstone this weekend.
I don't think a hard tyre works in the wet regardless. And anytime you've got a wet track, I get the put on the inters. Once you come from the inters onto the hard compound tyre, which is hard for a reason, it's when the ground's that dry that it stops it tearing apart. Going onto a hard tyre on a wet track that's drying out, you're sort of defeating the object because the track's not fully dry. It's still carrying some sort of moisture, and the hard tyre don't work well in the moisture.
Sorry, I'm just in the Highland Goal, the Netherlands goal.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a weird one, but like I say, you know, I was happy that somebody did something different and took the risk rather than just going, well, no, we're all just going to dive in the pit at the same time.
Yeah. See,
but then again,
questioned whether the McLarens had to do it or whether they could have just got to the end on the Inters.
Oh, 100% they could have got to the end on Inters. I think the problem they were concerned about is how quick the track was drying. There was still a good, 20-odd laps?
Yeah.
So I think they was a bit concerned at the time. But, like, it couldn't have been that bad because Hamilton was told to box, weren't he, on lap 42? Came out with the softs. Again, another gamble because the track still weren't fully dry. But lots of teams pitting for the slicks with the 10 laps to go on the pit. Exits somewhat... On pit exits, picks up some water, Hamilton does, and goes wide, and Leclerc goes past, and I was like, I don't think you're going to get that place back now. It's 3-0 England. Lauren Hemp has just scored. This is going to be a batter in this.
Do you know what? Wales the other night against France looked really good.
Brilliant, weren't they? Yeah.
And even the penalty, I felt bad for him because she saved it with her foot.
Yeah.
Oh,
might not count. Might be a suspicion of offside here with Lauren James. Oh,
we're going to have to do a podcast on VAR.
Do we have to? No, I think we do.
Remember when I said earlier we'll have to do a 3-parter? It's either going to be PSR or VAR.
Yeah, definitely. But no, while deciding whether we're offside, onside, or not, we'll carry on.
Yep.
But yeah, like I say, and I was worried that Leclerc wouldn't let Hamilton back pass because I think again he could have gone to the end on Inters. However, next lap he pits, comes in for slicks. Piastri is told to box for his 10-second penalty on lap 44, which I think was a waste of time. We'd have better off just serving it at the end.
Yeah, that's the thing. No, they were 30 seconds ahead of Nico Hülkenberg.
Yeah.
So even if they put 10 seconds on there, he'd have still been 20 seconds ahead of him.
Yeah. But the thing is, what cost him is, and Hülkenberg, I think, when he come back out, Hülkenberg was like 6-7 seconds behind him, is because they'd served his 10-second penalty and then they had to change his tyres to medium compound, which then meant Norris took the lead. And I was just like, okay, fair enough.
It counted, by the way, guys.
Yeah, it did.
It was very tight, but it counted. Yeah, so go on.
Again, like, did they really need to change his tyres? Did they need to make him serve the 10-second penalty, or would it have been better off to bring him in and just go, I'll tell you what, we'll just put the tyres on, we'll take the 10 seconds at the end. Yeah. But obviously we don't get to hear the full conversation. So the FIA might have turned around and said, no, you can't add it on at the end, you have to stop during the race.
See, that was close. Chandwick, he was saying on the F1 show the other day, you can only contest a decision if you take the penalty during the race. So my thought was maybe they've gone, we'll contest this, You
Yeah.
take the penalty, and then afterwards, obviously, they've looked at it and gone, all right, we can see we can see your reasoning why you gave him a 10-second penalty.
But I think that's what I said. The telemetrics that I don't know if the pit wall can say, but obviously the FIA had seen, and that's when they brought out the George Russell incident, saying that the PSI shows that it is way more pressure than what George Russell did when he was given a 10-second penalty. So in that sense, you go, you know what? Okay, yeah, we can't really argue about this. I think George's was harsh. I think
Yeah, George was a bit harsh.
George's was harsh as well. But rules are rules, aren't they?
Yeah, sadly. So,
But
look, I mentioned it earlier, mate. Lance Stroll.
before we get on to Stroll,
Okay,
because there's still a couple of laps of the race here that are important.
go
So
for
I
it.
think 44, 45, you've got Behrman and Ocon competing,
Yeah, they tapped each other.
and they both tapped each other, and both of them slide. And I'm thinking, oh wow, this could be horrendous. Luckily, both survived, but on another day, that might not have happened.
It was
That
very elegant the way they did it. They sort of spun in sync, didn't they?
yeah, it was like synchronized swimming, literally.
That's the only way I could describe it.
But it was mental. And again, I think that wasn't helped by, was it Norris? I
Yeah,
think it,
Lando Norris was warming
yeah,
his tyres back up.
yeah. So, but then what made me laugh was lap 46, and I feel sorry for him. But like, uh, Piastri, he comes on the radio and he's saying like, him and Norris should swap places if the team think that his 10-second penalty was unfair, which they clearly did. I think a lot of people did, but to ask a driver that's battled and competed who's going to win his home Grand Prix to swap round, you have not got a chance in Scooby-Doo's lifetime of that happening. If it had been any general race, I believe that Lando Norris would have reversed that position,
Yeah,
but not at Silverstone.
yeah. Like you said, it's his home Grand Prix. You know what? Lewis won it last year. George has won it, not George. Lando's won it this year. It's just, like you said, if that'd been Austria, I don't think if it'd been Austria and they'd known they got 30 seconds over Nico Hulkenberg in third,
Yep.
the call would have come across. Lando, slow down.
Yeah.
Once Piastri's out the pit, go for it. Game on.
Yeah. But that's what they said when they turned around and said, they're not swapping places. There's 5 laps left with no team orders. You're free to race, which says to me, go after him, go and get him.
Yeah, and he did a little bit, but I don't know. I think he slowed down in the end. I think he lost heart.
Again, that was it. I think like lap 52, I think there was. There was just nothing else after that. It was straightforward. Norris wins, obviously. Piastri second. Again, someone we haven't really spoken about much in this podcast yet was Hulkenberg, who finished third.
We will in a minute, mate. But you say
Hamilton
nothing
fourth.
happened at the end, mate. You said nothing happened, but it did. The biggest cheer wasn't Lando winning the Grand Prix. It was Nico
No.
getting third.
Well, like you say, for a guy that's had 239 races and never finished on a podium, that I find that hard to believe because he's not a shit driver.
See, I said it in the last podcast. Hulkenberg is one of my favourite drivers of all time, right?
Yes,
Did I not also say in the last podcast there would be a surprise on the podium?
you did.
And at the beginning of qualifying, it looked like it was going to be Ollie Behrman.
Yeah. But like you say, it's weird because like there was a few drivers that could have been even Lance Stroll.
Oh, mate, he had. I will hold my hands up. I am his biggest critic. I do not like Lance Stroll. I think he's there because Daddy owns the team.
Possibly.
He drove amazingly, and I
Yeah.
mean, I know he was a bit pissed at the end. We came sixth.
Sixth. Yeah.
Sixth?
Verstappen,
And
I
it's
think
not been
Verstappen
annoying, but,
overtook him about 2-3 laps before the end.
you know, if I spent most of literally from the first virtual safety car in third or fourth, and then to finish sixth, I'd have been over the moon.
Yeah.
Not just that, but you beat your teammate Fernando Alonso.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. Normally, it's stacked. Them top 10 is always stacked with the best drivers. Silverstone Grand Prix, so obviously we had Norris, Piastri, always up there. Hulkenberg in third. Never been on the podium, let alone finishing so high. Hamilton fourth, you expect to be there. Verstappen fifth, again expected to be there. Then you've got Stroll, Gasly, Alonso, and Albon, all ahead of George Russell, coming in 10th.
Yeah,
That
Russell had an awful
drivers
race.
that normally don't compete in that top 10.
See, if you look at the last 4 Grand Prix, British ones, George Russell has always qualified good, but cannot do it in a race.
It's mad, isn't it? Do you know what I felt
No,
sorry for this weekend? I don't know. No, feel sorry is probably the wrong word. But in the last 11 Grand Prix at Silverstone, Hamilton has always finished on the podium. That is another stat that you just look and you go, wow.
It's like that guy I sent you the reel to, the one who does the comic,
Yeah.
and it's like when he says, "I've never finished on a podium," and he goes, "What, like never?" And he goes, "Well, I'll be cheering you on, mate." And you think to yourself, that's quite funny, but at the same time, I know Lewis Hamilton. He's like Max Verstappen. He's got a lot of respect for Nico Hulkenberg.
Yeah.
So do you think at that point when he came in and he went, "All right, you can chase Nico down," but he'd be third. It'd be his first podium.
Do you know what? Again, this back and forth with Ferrari giving team orders but saying they're not. It wouldn't surprise me if Lewis has gone on one. Do you know what? I've been on it 11 times in the last 11 years. Like, it ain't going to hurt me to miss out once. This is a guy that's never done it. Do you know what? Yeah, I'm going to make out I'm chasing him, but I'm not actually going to chase him.
Yeah. Because
Liverpool not going to win. He's not going to win a drivers' championship. Ferrari are already ahead of Red Bull in the constructors. They're not going to catch McLaren. So they're looking going, well, we still get points. Still ahead of the Red Bulls. We still keep the gap and extend it. Yeah, why not? Let him finish third. Something for him to remember.
In the time when it was Lewis chasing down Nico held him off really, really well.
Yeah.
And then when, like you said, Lewis came in for slicks, Nico stayed out, didn't they?
Yes.
And I think that was probably the best thing for him.
It gave him some clear air, though, didn't it? It gave him time to reset and refocus. Because when you've got someone, 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton, chasing you down that close to you in DRS range, luckily DRS weren't employed for most of the race because of how wet it was. So I think on another day with DRS, that move gets done very early in the race.
Yeah. Yeah, Nico doesn't finish on the, like I said before, Nico's one of my favourite drivers. He's not done a lot in his career, but he'd still be on my Mount Rushmore just because of how he drives. I mean, look at the last 4 races. Was it 17th, 18th, 20th, 19th? 7th, 8th, 9th, 3rd.
Again, it's good progression, isn't it?
Yeah. And the thing is, he's getting the best out of a car that last season only scored 8 points, and that was Bottas.
Yeah.
They're going to Audi next year, I believe.
Yes, they are. Excited to see that.
The car's going to get upgraded and things like that. I don't think it'll be a front runner.
Did you get, just sorry off topic, did you get the picture I sent you of the revealed Audi for next year?
Yes, it looks beautiful, doesn't it?
Oh, wow. I like that. That's smart.
It looks absolutely gorgeous. I don't see Audi next year being a front runner.
No.
But I can see them challenging like Mercedes and Aston Martin.
I'm not sure about Mercedes because obviously, as we know, the rumour of Max Verstappen potentially going there. If he goes there, I don't know. It's a tough one to call, but as I said to you the other day, another spoiler alert for the F1 fans if they've not seen it. Porsche have now been I've heard a rumour. I can't say it's official. I've heard a rumour from a guy's house I was working in that works at Porsche to say that Porsche are going onto the grid next year in Formula One. They've already signed a driver. A lot of you will know him. I love him to bits, I do. And that is Daniel Ricciardo. So keep your ears open for that one.
Yeah. It's gonna be good to see who his partner will be.
Oh yes. Good to bring back Mark Webber.
Cadillac come into it next year as well, don't they?
Yes. 3 new teams. Two. Obviously, Audi taking over Haas, so technically new team, but still the same team. And then obviously, like you say, Cadillac and Porsche being 2 new teams. So instead of having 20 cars on the grid, that would suggest we've got 24 cars on the grid. unless two teams are folding or rebranding.
You know, I mean, it reminds me of the '93 season when you had 28 cars on there, but that was only because like McLaren had 3 drivers.
Yeah.
You know, go back and watch some of the highlights of like the early '91s. Some of the cars have got like 4 wheels on the front. It's mental. But for me,
Netherlands are beating France 2-1. Own goal from Basham. Ooh. Netherlands are 2-1 up against France.
that puts pressure on us now, mate.
That puts England top of the group. It doesn't. Puts England top of the group.
Wow, okay.
Because we all finish on 6 points. And it goes on head-to-head records then. So because England beat Netherlands 4-0, our goal difference is superior. So this is a mad one. But yeah.
We talk about the podium, mate.
Yeah.
Now, you know me, I love McLaren. Yeah, that's an unfortunate goal. So we talk about. I love McLaren's bits. I love Oscar, and I do love Lando. But the disrespect shown to Nico.
Do you know what? We had a chat about this, and like I've gone over it in my head back and forth, and I'm sitting there going, yes, no, 4-0 England, Alessia Russo, Jesus Christ. It's all in the first half, by the way, guys. In case you're not tuned in, you're only listening to us.
43rd minute, something like that.
Yeah, but I was sitting there, and I was like, every other race you see this season, and whether it's Leclerc, Hamilton, Verstappen, Norris, Piastri, they all stoke each other. To leave Nico Hulkenberg standing there on his own, I thought showed the most disrespect ever.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's his first time up there. He's really excited. He's gonna be like, "Yes, I can do the champagne with the lads." And it was just like they sprayed each other, and he was like, "Oh, I'll go and spray these guys over here." I think at the end, Oscar went over and sprayed him a little bit.
It's too late by then, though, and they're like, I get you've won the British Grand, and I think this is what takes away like the whole reasoning for it. Like people will be going, "Oh, it's his home Grand Prix." Yeah, I get that, but like literally, if he'd have turned and just sprayed him first of all quickly, and then messed about with Piastri, no one would bat an eyelid. It's the fact that he's standing there. Yeah, he's standing there looking, going, "Oh, no one wants to celebrate with me," and like my heart sank.
I was so angry when I saw it. Oh, I mean, for anybody who's got me as a friend on Facebook, you probably saw my little rant and everything. But I was just like, it's like you watch at the end of the race, and Nico's doing their slow going around, going, "Yeah, I got third," and Max storms up next to him and just anchors the brakes on. He's like, "Go on, mate, yes."
Well, yeah,
And if Max is on the podium that day with say Lewis,
it's a whole different thing, and yeah,
bring the guy up again, mate. But they lift him up on the shoulders.
yeah, 100%,
You know.
100%. But you know what was weird? Like for a guy that's had 239 races, so you're talking what 10 years in F1, roughly, give or take,
Yeah.
maybe a little bit longer, to never be on the podium. He gets on the podium, he goes into the cool down room at the end and breaks the flipping protocol because he doesn't put his hand on the stand, his helmet and his neck brace on the stand. So, in that sense, Norris looks after him. He goes, "Oh, mate, you meant to put this here." He's like, "Oh, sorry, mate, I've never been here. I don't know." Which, you laugh and joke about. So that alone, again, has triggered in your head that he's never been here. We've got to make this special. We've been on the podium before. We've had it several times. This is his first podium. We need to make this guy remember it in case it never happens again. They didn't do that. They let themselves down.
And the thing is, as well, like you said, the Lando thing, yeah, when he was in there and he went, "Oh, give me your helmet." Why? "Oh, you need to put it on here." "Oh, I didn't know." But then they have a laugh. And Oscar said it. He was like, "It's your first time in your podium and you've got a trophy made out of Lego."
Yeah.
And Nico, being Nico, was like, "Oh, me and my kids love playing Lego." I mean, have you seen the video of his little girl?
Yes.
When he picked up his trophy. It's the sweetest thing ever. If you haven't seen it, guys, go and watch it. She's like, "That's my dad." Like, she's really excited.
Proud.
But, I mean, it's like Saber were like, he got third, and they went, "We haven't got no champagne to celebrate with him." And I think it was Mercedes, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Who went, "Here, have bottles," and they literally bought all these bottles
Yeah.
up. So they, and for me, that was Mercedes going, "You've earned this." I mean, from what I've heard, Nico actually has got a proper trophy from Silverstone now.
Yeah, he has.
And that was because I was an outcry online saying, yes, it was nice. It was a nice touch. It's different to do Lego, but he may never get there again. And it's like, all right, we'll actually make him a trophy.
Yeah. But do you know what? Like, I think as a community, because that's what F1 is, all the drivers know each other, you know. Yes, they race on the track. It's a bit like boxing. You punch your head off the guy in the ring for 10 rounds, 12 rounds, whatever it might be. And then you shake hands at the end. You have that respect for each other. They
Wow.
just didn't do that on the podium. What?
Some boxers shake hands at the end, mate. I mean, Ben
Well,
and Ben and Eubank.
but again, like they still they know though they respect each other. I get it during the build up, but they still respect each other now. But like Lando and Oscar that day did not respect Hulkenberg in any way, shape, or form, and that's saddening. That is.
Yeah, that for me, like I said, I love Oscar to bits. I think he's going to be world champion this year in my eyes. But when I saw that, and like you said, he was just standing on the corner on his own, and he's like, oh, and you know, what do I do now? You know, you guys are off celebrating over there. At least you know, I feel like a spare part.
It
And I
was,
think Zach Brown should sit him down in the briefing afterwards and go, "What the fuck was that, guys?
yeah,
You know, where was the respect there?" I mean, and I think subconsciously think about this. Lando wins the Grand Prix. McLaren get a 1-2. All people are going to remember from the British Grand Prix is Nico Hulkenberg finished third.
yeah.
Is that playing on Lando's head like, well, there was my thunder gone?
But it's not the way you say he's been on the podium before. I get it's his home Grand Prix. People will say, yeah, okay, it's the first British home Grand Prix you've won. But you've won races. You're in contention every single race to win. Hulkenberg isn't.
Hulkenberg is probably, at this present time, my bold statement is Hulkenberg is my driver of the season at the moment. Not because I love the guy to bits, but he's been the most consistent driver all the way through.
It's a shout. It's a shout, that is.
I mean, by the end of the season, I'll probably change my mind and go, actually, he's third. But at this present time, just based on the last 4 races, he's been the most consistent driver.
Yeah, but no, I totally agree.
Yeah.
It's just, I think before it was few and far between with the Haases. You know, they'd have a good result, then 5 bad results, 1 good result, 5 bad results. They've just got to try and keep themselves in that bracket of where they are now and keep performing.
Yeah.
Keep grinding out results and trying to finish in that top 10 at least one car. Do you know what I mean? But again, a driver I was disappointed with this week was Bortoletto because last week he had an amazing drive, and then this week it was non-existent. He went back to being the old way.
It's like Bambi on ice when
Yeah.
he
And again, is it just the simple fact that if that race was to be played this weekend, where it's dry, would it have been a different outcome?
Possibly, mate. You know, possibly. I think a lot of drivers would have done better. I think Behrman would have been up there. You know, Hulkenberg, Bortoletto, Hamilton, Max. I think that the top 6 could have been a good fight if it had been a dry race.
Yeah.
Sadly, you know, not sadly, but I could see that McLaren's still storming it, but because to me, they have the best car on the track at this present time.
They're just different, aren't they? They're every when if you had a checkbox and you look at all the cars on the grid and you go, right, who's got the best straight line speed? Well, okay, they say it's the Red Bulls. I don't believe it is because the way the McLarens have passed Max Verstappen on straights this year, it's like it's a breeze. It's like Max Verstappen's a back marker. That shouldn't happen in a top car.
No. Right. Driver of the day, mate.
Yeah, it has to be Nico Hulkenberg. Has to be.
Yeah.
Closely followed by Lance Stroll.
Yeah, you know what? I never thought I'd put them 2 in the driver of the day competition, but yeah, I agree totally.
And like I said, I'm not Lance Stroll's biggest fan at all because, again, for me, it's a bit like Pastor Maldonado, other than he doesn't go around purposely crashing into people. But his dad's there, and sometimes that carries a lot of pressure. Yeah. But like with him, I think the pressure sometimes he thrives on. And this weekend he showed that he can handle being number 2 driver. He can put himself about on the track and look after himself. And I think for what he done this weekend, absolutely fantastic, because I'm sure in qualifying he went out in Q2, if I remember correctly.
Yes, he was the last person in Q2.
So when you look at it in that sense, you go, well, okay, I'll tell you what, Lloyd, that's some going, that is.
Yeah. See, if I picked a driver of the weekend would probably be Ollie Behrman. His practice, his qualifying was brilliant. He's raced until he had his little spins and his little slides. I think he drove really, really well.
Oh, no, sorry. Stroll went out in Q3.
Oh, really? Wow.
Pinto was last. Hulkenberg, Stroll. No, sorry. It was Lawson, Bortoletto, Stroll, Hulkenberg, Colapinto in that order.
Wow. So Hulkenberg and Stroll, yes, they had the best race day.
You think they both started on the grid, what, 16th and 17th?
Yeah, they may have gained a few places from people jumping into the pits.
Sorry, 17th and 18th. And they've finished 3rd and 5th, respectively.
Yeah.
That is a drive, that is.
You know, like I said, yes, they gain a few places by default. And
Don't,
then they gain, for me, they are the two that profit the most from the VSC and the safety car.
Yeah.
And I think that helps them, but without the drive as well, you know, maybe say Lance Stroll had managed to keep his intermediates going all the way to the end. Into, you know, Stroll versus Hulkenberg for 3rd. What universe does that happen?
Once in a lifetime, yeah. And that's the thing. I think them drivers.
Lance Stroll in a race, or is it just a podium when he was at Williams?
Who's that? Sorry,
Lance Stroll.
I don't believe he's ever won a race. I think it was podium.
Podium then.
But like you say, you know, they're drivers that, to them, that means everything. They're never in contention, and yet they're up there.
Yeah, and that's why we love this sport, mate. Let's be honest.
It's the unpredictable moments that cause controversy, and you know, things we can have a conversation about, a deliberation, and that's what makes it special. Because no 2 races are the same. I mean, don't get me wrong. If we'd have done this last year, I'd have probably been saying, "Oh, well, this episode of the podcast isn't going to be great. It's going to be boring. Max Verstappen's won by 40 seconds again. Blah blah blah." No, but this season proved that it's different.
Yeah. See, there was cracks in the armour last year in Red Bull.
Yeah.
At the end of the season last year, and I think, like when we said about the Villa and Nottingham Forest about why they qualified for Champions League, was because they had a good start. For me, Red Bull had a great start to last season and an awful end.
Yeah.
And I think it was the great start that helped them to get where they was. Like I said, guys, these are just our opinions. You could probably go, Hulkenberg, what? I don't think there's anybody that would disagree with Hulkenberg, because I think Hulkenberg has a soft spot in probably most people's hearts.
Of course he does.
You know, and not because of who he is, but because of Danny Ricciardo going Hulkenberg, you know.
Yeah. But when you look at it, you could not show me, well, you probably could. I want to know how many drivers out there have had 239 drives and never finished on a podium.
Yeah.
Most people would have given up.
I'd have cried. I'd have cried once I got on the podium, I think.
Most people would have given up.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, he did go away for a while, Hulkenberg, and he came back again.
Yeah.
No, he went from Renault, left Renault, for a season, then come back to Haas, and then went to Sabre.
Yeah.
So, we were talking about the chinks in the armour at Red Bull. There's a massive crack in Red Bull now. We've got a few minutes left. We might as well talk about it.
Oh, definitely.
Christian Horner.
Ooh, as I said,
he was pushed. I said, you know, was he pushed or shoved? But he pushed. He was pushed.
It was pushed. But again, we're never going to know the ins and outs. And for me, I think he's been, I wouldn't say harshly treated, because from what I'm hearing is he's been sacked, but his contract will still be paid. So he's still earning 12 million quid a year. So
is that why he can't join the team till next year?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So when you look at it, you go, okay, they're still looking after you, And I think it's more of a thing where they've said, look, we've had all these women make these comments. We've had to investigate them. There's no proof because it's their word against his.
Yeah.
But they've acted in the best interest of trying to, in this new world that we live in where we have to take these kind of things seriously, rather than just say, look,
Agree.
we've spoken to Max. We've spoken to Christian. We are going to monitor his behaviour going forward. But at this moment, there's no conclusive evidence to say he's done what you're accusing him of. So as it stands, we are going to stay as we are.
Yeah.
So as a sweetener, they've gone, well, tell you what, mate, fortunately, you're going to have to go. It's probably a good thing anyway. We want a change of leadership, ownership, whatever you want to call it. We want some new ideas. We're going to pay you your salary to the end of the season. You can't join another team. I think it's best on all parties.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know if you've seen it, they let him do that speech to the whole team and the staff.
Yeah, he was quite emotional, wasn't he?
Yeah, but again, some of them staff in that room must have accused him of his wrongdoings. So, like, for him to stand there and want to give a speech to everybody says to me, and I mean, I'm just summarising, I could be totally wrong, that he hasn't done those kind of things.
No.
So
I think, for me, Christian Horner comes across the same way that, what's his name from TalkSport? Simon Jordan comes across.
Jordan, my mate.
Arrogant. He comes across arrogant, but he knows what he's talking about, and I think that's where Christian Horner comes in. He comes across arrogant. I mean, you watched Drive to Survive as well, and there's a season where I think he dropped Gasly for Albon, and he was sitting there at breakfast with his wife Jerry, and you could see he was like, "But I like, Gasly. I think he's gonna be great, but we need to do what's right for the team." And for that whole breakfast scene, he was torn between who he should pick.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes that's hard, you've got to make that decision. I mean, there was a picture the other day, and it was like all the old Red Bull drivers, and it was like, come and join us, boss. And you got like Kvyat, Gasly, Albon, Lawson, Danny Ricciardo, they're all up there. But I also think, this is just my honest opinion, but I also think the situation with Max, will he be there, will he not be there? If he leaves and Christian leaves, does Max then go, I might stay? Or has Christian been sacked because Max has gone, I'm going?
Well, again, they say that the relationship between Christian and Max is fine. It's with Jos Verstappen where the strain is. And I don't know why that is. We're not going to know because they're not going to tell us. But the two offers that have been put on the table, if Verstappen wants to leave after these next two races, which potentially looks like he could, is Aston Martin to join back up with Adrian Newey, or it's Mercedes. So they're not bad moves. But who do you get rid of at Aston Martin? Now, the obvious one there is going to be Fernando Alonso being 43, the oldest driver on the grid.
Yeah, plus Lance is not going to get rid of Lawrence is not going to get rid of Lance.
No, and then you've got Mercedes, and he's rumoured to take George Russell's seat. So where does George Russell go? Does he go to one of these new teams that are coming in? Is it Cadillac? Is it Porsche? Is it Audi? Going back to the Haases? Who knows? Everything's up in the air.
Rumour, he can go back to Williams.
Wow. Okay. Again, I could see that with potential Albon going
there. Goes to Cadillac or.
But another rumour, and I kept this one secret for this, so I wanted to see your reaction, is your best mate is meant to be coming back on the F1 grid next year. Danny Kvyat. Yeah.
Is he going to drive for?
That's my question. Porsche, Cadillac?
Mate, screw it.
Will it be a team that's already existing? I'll tell you where he could go, though. He could go to the Raging Bulls.
Yeah.
Or could he be given the lead seat at Red Bull if Max Verstappen leaves?
So I was just about to say about the Racing Bulls of the Red Bull.
Oh,
and Kvyat. Two drivers. Give them that. I think they'd be good.
Because Kvyat was in the AlphaTauri, weren't he?
Yeah.
So
because he was at Red Bull for a while.
Yeah.
Then he went down to AlphaTauri and Gasly took his place, and then Gasly got moved down and Albon came in. And
it'll be interesting to see who takes that number one slot at Red Bull if Max leaves, because Tsunoda's not a number one driver for me.
See, that's what I said. Nico Hulkenberg could come in.
Or is George Russell making the jump to Red Bull?
Yeah. I don't know.
Will Lewis Hamilton end up there?
Well, you said it last week. You thought this season could be Lewis's last.
Yeah.
I mean,
But I still think the Red Bull car is better than the Ferrari. And I think if you put Lewis in Max's position,
yeah,
he would then be challenging Oscar and Lando, which might be what he wants for his last final seat. I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities that could come out of this.
Yeah. I mean, there was always a word said by a YouTuber I know, don't know, but I watch called Arava, and he said it only takes one driver to leave to make a merry-go-round go.
Yeah.
You know, one driver retires. I mean, look at Sebastian Vettel. He retired, and how many drivers moved?
Loads.
You know, Bottas, he came off the grid last season. How many drivers?
Can he come back? See, there's a few drivers here we mentioned that have still got years in them to race and aren't racing.
See, Bottas is the reserve driver at Mercedes, and my thought is if Antonelli doesn't pick up his ideas, not permanently, but put Bottas in the seat for a few weeks, a few races, to then get Antonelli to go, maybe I do need to buck up my ideas a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. But like you say, there's a few possibilities, and like I'm sure in the coming weeks, well, we won't know till what, probably September, October-ish, toward the end of the season, where people can start announcing deals. But I think the summer break will be interesting to see who wants to progress more, who does a bit more. But I'm looking forward to Spa. Probably my favourite course out there.
Yeah, with En Rouge.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's where the ticket were for the En Rouge. I'm thinking now, I should have gone, literally, but, 2,600 quid's a lot of money.
Like I said, not next year because of the wedding and that, but the year after, mate, we will be at the Formula One. I mean, next year, there's a good possibility, I might put this to Lewis afterwards and a few lads, but doing a go-kart race.
Sounds good to me.
Helmet cam on, everything like that, and then just put it on the channel and just say, look how much of it, how bad we are.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
So yes, guys, that was our take on the British Grand Prix. You've probably got your own opinions. You've probably watched it. You've probably sat there and listened to me, Lewis, for like the last 2 hours and gone, what a load of rubbish.
Yeah, potentially. But you know what, guys? We can only do this. We can't do this alone. So your feedback, however small or big it may be, helps us massively, because we can see you feeding back to us on the channel, commenting for whatever it might be, or questioning something we've said, and then we can bring it up in a podcast. And to be fair, if it's a good debate, we can get you guys on to have that debate with us. So please do give us your feedback.
I mean, we've already got one guy coming on to do our final Premier League predictions.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking maybe one of the podcasts soon we start talking about the Championship before that starts.
Yeah, I'd be open to that as well.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be an outsider looking in, so it'd be
interesting.
We could even do like a just a cheeky prediction for that.
Yeah, I think we do. Yeah.
I mean, we've spoken at length for the last few days about how the Premier League one's going to change, just because of what we've seen so far.
Some absolute madness going on there.
It's amazing, isn't it? So yeah, guys, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Yeah. Don't know what else to say, mate.
Well, to say, it's been a pleasure, and we'll thank you for listening to us for the last 2 hours. We hope you enjoy it as much as we do, and we'll be back very soon with another podcast. So enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys.
We will. See you later.
See you all later.